Hello crypto traders, this is Matthew with Crypto Traders Pro, and today I want to show you my altcoin trading strategy. Now, as you know, on Binance there is tons of altcoins out there. On CoinMarketCap there's tons of altcoins out there, so it can be hard to narrow them down and figure out which ones are the best potential trades right now, which ones have the highest probability of increasing in value over the next couple days, couple weeks, couple months, which ones are going to be the best potential trades. So this video is only going to be focused on Binance. Binance is one of the only exchanges that I recommend and use because it's one of the few exchanges that really proves that they're legit and that they're not going to scam you or just go away overnight like some of these other exchanges. I think the CEO of Binance has done a great job building that trust within the community, so it's an exchange I can get behind and back. They also have enough liquidity and volume on there to make it worthwhile to trade on there. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you're scanning the markets for trading setups is I'm looking for charts, and not just any charts. I'm going to go down the list on Binance, and generally I like to sort them in one of two categories. So either the 24-hour change, I like to see which ones have either gone up the most or dropped the most, and I also like looking at the 24-hour volume. So I want to see what coins have the most liquidity, how many people or how much money's flowing in and out of these coins. I want to be focusing on the ones with the most volume, because if there's not enough volume, then it's going to be really hard for me to buy or sell that particular cryptocurrency. So I kind of have a list in my head already of cryptocurrencies that I've done some at least basic fundamental research on, that I've heard of, that I know get that hype behind them or have gone on big runs in the past. I like to focus on ones that have past performance history that has been very good, and maybe it's had 100%, 500% moves, or even larger. I like to stay away from coins that haven't done much movement yet, or necessarily don't have that volume or fundamental reason to move behind them. So looking down the list here, there's a few coins that stand out: Ethereum, Ripple, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, Tron. Tron is always a great trading opportunity because it gets a lot of hype behind it. Justin Sun is the founder of Tron. He always likes to hype it up. So there's always going to be eyes on Tron, and it's something that I always want to keep an eye out for. So I find Tron on this list, then I go directly over to the chart. I type in Tron, TRXBTC is the ticker, and I look at the chart. Well, judging by this chart, just glancing at it very quickly here, I see, okay, this could be a good trading opportunity. Reason being is it's coming down to a key support level, which is right around here, and it actually looks like it could be a good entry right now. My reason behind it is it recently broke out past resistance, which is right here, resistance 1, resistance 2. It had the breakout, now it's coming back down to retest this level of support. As long as it's able to hold this level, that's a great buying opportunity. So I like to also use the long short tool. This determines my risk reward. If I was to take an entry right now at current price, I would be risking probably down here. Just give it a little bit of wiggle room just in case it does wick below here. So my possible reward, if it did go up to these highs, would be about 12%, where I'm risking only 3 to 5%. This is a great risk reward opportunity, and this is an example of a solid trading setup. And again, I just find it real quick. Going down Binance, I have it sorted by volume. Tron is always going to be a high volume coin. There's always hype, and there's always going to be eyes on Tron. So it's something that I frequently like to trade. I'm not in the position now, but I'm not necessarily against taking a position now because, again, the risk reward on it, it's near a key support level on the chart. It's just had the breakout past this resistance. I want to see if it's going to come down, test this resistance as support, which it looks like it's doing. If it's able to hold this level, we jump in and we ride it up. Now our potential reward opportunity is based on, okay, where's the next resistance point on the chart? Well, probably right around here. There was some resistance somewhere on this level. There's also going to be some resistance here. And what I'm looking at, again, there's support right here. It falls below, test this as resistance, comes down here, test this area as support, which is this area as resistance. So previous support, previous resistance are where I like to draw my lines. That's generally where it gets hung up on the chart. So I would like to see it get up to this first target right here, which is about 17% gain. If it breaks ahead of that, then we could be looking at a 30% gain. That's a pretty decent win for only risking 3, 4, 5% on the trade. Tron is a great example. So another way to take this one step further, if you're into fundamental analysis, I do mostly just consider the chart, but I also usually peek at what's going on if there's any news that could be driving it. Maybe there's positive news coming out or negative news coming out. I want to know about that. So one way to do this is to search the ticker on Twitter. You type a $ TRX and just do a Twitter search, and this is going to show you anybody that's been talking about Tron. It looks like there is something going on with Tron. They'll be upgrading to Odyssey 3.1 at 8 p.m. SGT. So again, not exactly entirely 100% sure what this means, but Justin Sun tweeted this 2 days ago. So there's probably going to be some hype behind it. That's probably by 2 days ago or 3-4 days ago, it started moving up and breaking past this key resistance level. Now that hype is kind of faded away. People have forgotten about it, but that presents us a great entry opportunity to jump in. We see that Tron's had some large volume coming into it over the past several weeks. We've seen these large green days, these large upticks of volume. People have been loading up. Tron has gotten beat up on the charts over the past couple months. So this could definitely be a great buying opportunity. Now, let's say I want to keep looking. And this is usually what I do every couple nights or every night. I just go down the list one by one. So I always look at the majors. I'm usually trading the majors on Bitfinex because they offer margin trading. So Ethereum, Ripple, EOS, Bitcoin Cash. All those I usually look at generally on Bitfinex. But when I'm on Binance, I'm focused on coins that don't allow margin trading. BNB is another cryptocurrency that I think has strong fundamentals behind it. I'm actually a big fan of the Binance exchange. I think what BNB does, it has true utility in it, and the fact that your fees are reduced by 50% if you're able to hold that in your Binance account while you're trading on there. So it has utility. And also, every quarter, Binance buys back some of the BNB token with their profits and burns them. So they're reducing the supply every quarter. So this is the BNB chart. I had already drawn out the analysis on here for the Crypto Traders Pro community because, I just did this the other night. So doing a quick analysis on BNB, I'm just looking at horizontal support and resistance. So going back on the chart, I'm seeing in this zone, it kind of double bottomed. This is actually a signal back when this happened in April, but it had this double bottom and then it went on the big run. So we see their support at this level. So I draw my support line, and lo and behold, it dropped here, hit the support level, and it also dropped in this zone right here. So anywhere in this green zone is presenting a good risk reward buying opportunity. If it falls below this green zone, I cut the loss, take my loss, and move on. Again, it'll be maybe a 10% loss at most. From the top of this green zone to the bottom is only 5%, so not even 10%. Now, I'm also noticing at the same time there's resistance. And interestingly enough, these resistance levels right here, every time it got in this red box right here, it's gone down in price. These resistance levels match up with a support level right here. They also match up with a support level right here, and a resistance here, and another resistance here, and another resistance here. So support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support. They work together. So as soon as we see a breakout of this level, I'm looking for it to break out, come back down, and then it goes on its merry way. This would be our buying opportunity. I don't want to buy until we get that breakout confirmation, because what if it just goes into this resistance level and then comes back down and breaks down here? Then I had my entry all the way up in this red box, and now it's dropping below this green line, and now my risk is 15%. So instead of just waiting for it to come back down to this green line and being more patient, I reduce my risk by about 10%. So I hope you guys are able to follow along. I think this is a very simple strategy and concept. But again, BNB, there's news every quarter. They just burned a portion of their supply, or they're going to burn it. So that's going to be some good news coming out of BNB. Again, we just keep going down the list. Another one, ZRX. This is another cryptocurrency that has strong fundamentals behind it. All of these coins I also wouldn't mind holding long term. So sometimes even when I get stuck in the trade, if I don't cut the loss or it tanks when I'm sleeping, these are coins I'm not too worried about in the long term. I think they're overall going to perform. I usually don't jump in bad projects if I believe they're not going to be a good long-term hold either. So the next one, ZRX. What I like about ZRX is that I know it's going to be listed on Coinbase very soon. So it's actually performing another pattern that I like, the breakout retest pattern. The buy is not necessarily the best right now, but it's not bad either. So here's what I'm looking at on the chart. Let's back it all the way up to, this is now January of 2018. So we see there is support here, it breaks down, there's resistance, some more resistance on these wicks, it finally breaks out, retests this area of support, that was a good buying opportunity, comes all the way back down, tests this area of support, has a pretty good sized bounce, comes back down, testing support once, twice, breaks through, now it's been resistance right here, and we just happened to break out of this level the other day where it acted as support on the downside. So now it's moving on up. Maybe we'll be able to catch this one more time before it does head up again, but that's where my buy zone would be, somewhere in this box. Again, I'm just using basic support and resistance levels. I don't like using a bunch of fancy indicators. Sometimes I like using these moving averages. When these moving averages cross, I like to buy. When they cross again, I like to sell. I use the 10 and 20 day. The 10-day is white, the 20-day is purple. When the 10-day crosses over the 20-day, that's a buying opportunity. We see right here, this would have been a solid buying opportunity. And if they cross on the downside, which they did right here, this would have been a good selling opportunity. Again, on the upside, good buying opportunity. So this is just a very basic strategy, but usually I don't even use the moving averages. I'm mostly focused on support resistance, and I'm looking at chart patterns. Chart patterns to me have been very profitable overall, just playing the few that I like. I like the breakout retest pattern. That is my absolute favorite pattern. If I see that, which I see it very often, I like taking that position because it comes with a defined risk level and a defined profit target. So my profit target on here would be the next resistance. These wicks hit a resistance level. There's resistance here, but there's going to be resistance all in this zone because it got caught up in this area a bunch. So there's a lot of resistance overhead, but it also presents a good low risk buying opportunity if I'm able to get in this white box. So let's go down the list. Let's do one more. There's a lot of coins on here I don't necessarily recognize, so I don't even usually bother. Like Chat, never heard of it. It's something I'm probably not going to buy. QLC, I've never heard of it. It's probably something I'm not going to buy. Cyber Miles. Some of these coins are just... I like trading the majors. I do like investing in small caps. It's kind of more speculation though, and it's just something I'm looking for quick trades on. But generally, I just like going down the list. If it's something I recognize, something that I've already done fundamental research on, or even something that I haven't done research on but I keep hearing about, then I'll send it over to Kurt. Kurt does the fundamental analysis for us. He comes back and gives us a pretty thorough report. If it's good, then great. We get added to the list, and it's something that I'm going to continue to look at for possible signals. So let's do one more on this list. I'm just going down. Verge. How about we do Verge? Because Verge is one, not necessarily I think is a great long-term hold based on fundamentals, but I believe it is a good trade based on the hype that comes into it. So Verge was actually the best performer of 2017. It increased the highest amount out of any other cryptocurrency. So what I like about the Verge chart is that, man, this is trending upwards. So here I would draw a trend line because I'm seeing a series of higher lows. We see this is the lowest point. Let me knock out this volume so you guys could see. This is the next lowest point right here, then right here. So it's just riding this trend line. My ideal entry is going to be as close to this trend line as possible because, again, we have a defined risk level. So anywhere near this trend line, that's going to be my entry. Target price, I'm not going to chase above that trend line. But I usually don't like to play trend lines as my stop loss or risk level just because I don't find trend lines to be overly accurate. I like playing the horizontals, or I prefer to play the horizontals. So right here is where I'm seeing some support and resistance. We zoom in here real quick. I see right here on the chart, let me knock this out. Right here there's some support, and it was previous resistance right here. Again, this is not as clear cut and dry because it's going through the middle right here, but Here's some more support. Sometimes these aren't necessarily perfect, but to me, this is a new trend starting to form. It's the longest Verge has gone sideways in a very, very long time. It is trending up slightly, but in the bigger picture, it's going pretty much sideways. So to me, Verge is presenting a pretty good opportunity here to buy in as close to that trend line as possible, using those support, the horizontal support, as my risk level. So maybe I'll do one more that I don't necessarily like the chart for. Okay, let's do Walton Coin, because Walton Coin's one I actually played on this previous run. So I don't necessarily like the Walton Coin chart right now. I think it's a bit overextended. Granted, it could go up significantly higher from here, but it's already had two pretty big size green days, and there's no really clear-cut and dry support level that I could establish a risk off of. So Walton's not something I'm looking to get in at this exact moment. I would like to come and revisit this once it has a red day, it comes back down, and it shows me that the new support is higher than the previous one. So if it was presenting a good risk-reward opportunity, great, then it's going to be something I look at. But Walton is a coin that has gotten a lot of hype in the past. It meets my credentials. Fundamentally, I think it's pretty good. There is a little bit of concerns. I know a while back they were doing a giveaway on Twitter, and the winner of the giveaway actually announced it from the Walton Coin Twitter. So it was kind of an insider thing. That didn't look too good from a PR perspective. But I don't necessarily think Walton is a fundamentally bad project just because of that mistake. But it is a little bit risky, as well as anything from China I think is a little bit risky. But that's just a personal opinion. So the Walton Coin support that I'm noticing is right down here at this line. It is a bit overextended from the support zone. The risk is too much for me. It's something I'm not going to jump into. 15%. It's not bad, but there's so many more opportunities right now. 15% is not something I'm willing to risk on a play like this. So I'll wait a little bit longer and just keep this on the watch list. It's something I'll monitor. So that's pretty much it. When I'm going through coins and researching, I'm looking at coins that I'm already familiar with. Kurt does a lot of the research for Crypto Traders Pro on the new stuff or stuff that's kind of up and coming to put it on the radar. So if Kurt recommends something, he'll let us know. We'll all dig into it fundamentally. We'll review it. If it looks good, if it looks like it could be a good long-term investment as well as potential trade, I'll put it on the watch list. And there's a ton of these coins that I wouldn't mind trading. Walton, Zilliqa, Ontology, Quark Chain, Hot, I've heard of. It has some hype behind it. Vet, VeChain, Lumens, Icon. All of these I'm definitely not against trying to trade or even a potential long-term investment, but just the trader in me that scans charts, this is all I do. I go down the list of Binance. I'm looking at volume. I want to see coins with high volume, or I go down the 24-hour movers, and I usually like seeing coins that have dropped 10%, not too much in a day, but between 5 and 10%, because maybe they had a big breakout the other day and now they're kind of pulling back, like Tron. Tron's one that's been dropping the past few days, so that's something I want on my radar, because only a few days ago it was going on a big breakout, had a big percentage gain. Now it's cooling off, it's coming down. I'm not looking to buy into that hype. I'm looking to buy that pullback, and on that to find a risk-reward opportunity. So if you're struggling finding good trading opportunities, or you're having trouble on Binance discovering, okay, what charts are actually good? How do I know if this is a good potential buy or it's something I should be watching? If you're struggling with that, then what I would recommend, or even if you don't have time, there's a lot of people that do understand it, but every day it's pretty time consuming to go through these charts. Usually if it's just me sitting here by myself, I'm not sitting here drawing lines on these charts. I could just glance at this chart and say, okay, I know if it comes near this level on the chart, the previous resistance level, it's now going to act as support. I know if it's going to come to this level, I'm going to look as a buy, but I always draw out the lines, and then I read a detailed analysis for the Crypto Traders Pro community, but it also helps me. It's not necessarily something I have to do, is sit there and draw out lines on every single one of my charts if it's just me analyzing it for myself. But generally, if I'm doing the write-up, I want this to be a lesson for everybody else. So this is what the Crypto Traders Pro signals and analysis page looks like. If you are interested in signals or analysis, you know, I'm not just pumping out signals on crappy projects. All these signals are solid fundamental projects that I actually think are going to do well. I only put signals out I'm confident in. But even just from a learning perspective, if you didn't even play the signals at all and just looked at the analysis that we post, like BNB, I just went over that chart, I posted it, I gave a write-up the other day. So this is something you check every day. You know, I post couple charts a day, 3, 4, 5 charts, sometimes every day, sometimes every couple days. I also do videos like this, like the watch list videos of stuff you should be watching every single week. Like Tron, I was saying the other day, this is a good buying opportunity. Anywhere in this green box, that's a great buying opportunity. I didn't draw a bunch of technical analysis lines on here. I'm just saying if it comes in this box, it's most likely going to be a good buying opportunity. It's not something I called a signal on, even though, I mean, it could possibly be a signal. It's something to watch for. WAN chain, that's another good one, another solid chart. So I usually post these charts. Sometimes I post really long, detailed write-ups, like this one on Verge. Sometimes I post just short updates, like this one on WAN chain was another long one. So this is something to keep an eye out for if you're interested in the signals and analysis page. I'm not necessarily pushing you to go buy the signals and analysis page, but it's just if you're interested in that. I think this guide is general enough where you get the general idea of how I do my research on these coins and look for good buying opportunities on the charts, because a lot of people come to me with questions asking how I'm actually finding these coins that I'm calling signals on or I'm posting charts on, and this is the gist of it. I just go down Binance and just go one by one. Is this a good buying opportunity? If not, nope. I forget about it and I look at it in a couple days or a couple weeks. So if this video was helpful for you guys, please leave a like and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video or if you have any questions on this video. You know, I want to know that these are helpful for you guys and that you're getting value out of this. If you guys have any questions for me personally, you could reach out to me on the Crypto Traders news page on Facebook or the Crypto Traders Facebook group. We are active here every day posting discussions. If you guys are in Chicago area, we're going to be at the Loyalty Live conference. As you see right here, there's a 50% off tickets with our promo code, but we're going to be speaking at this event. We're going to be talking about mass adoption. We're talking about bringing businesses point of sale solutions so they can start accepting cryptocurrency. And we're going to be networking with a lot of businesses. There's going to be a lot of CMOs, CFOs, and a lot of high-level marketing people from businesses of all around Chicago, which is a massive city in the US. So if you're in that area, I encourage you to come out and you can hang out with Kurt and I and the rest of the Crypto Traders Pro group. So on that note, this is Matthew with Crypto Traders Pro, and I'll see you on the moon.